Do you consider yourself quick on your feet when it comes to defending yourself against bullies or someone talking down to you or making fun of you? Are you ready to act? You always have something good to say? In this video, I'm going to tell you a story. 2 days ago, I was out on a date and there was a guy at a bar who kind of was talking down to me a little bit, and I'm going to tell you how I handled it. But more importantly, I'm going to go through 3 different ways you could have handled it so you can feel confident out in public. You know, so many people aren't able to move in a confident way and display confident body language and tonality because they're afraid. What if this dude says something to me? What am I gonna say? So I want you to have a high level of confidence you can deal with anything that's thrown your way. So I'm gonna tell you this story and break down exactly how I handled it, and you can make your own decisions. I'd be interested to know in the comments below what you do think. So I was on a 3rd date with a gal here in Dallas, Texas. And some people had told me about a very fancy bar in the area that's actually at a hotel that I hadn't been to before, because I like going to fancy places, I like going to dive bars, I like to keep it fresh and mix it up. So I wanted to try this place. So we walked in, and sure enough, it was very, very fancy. It was a very old demographic. Like, it was so old that people kind of stared when we walked in because we stood out so much by being on the younger side of the spectrum. So I walk up to the bar, and it was a packed bar. Like, I could literally only get about one. There's a person in front of me. I couldn't get any closer to the bar before I ordered. So I had to order like kind of over this other guy. And when I did, there was this man who was probably 55 to 60 years old, I guess, maybe 50 to 60, who stood quite a bit shorter than the average, maybe 5'4", I would say. And he had very meek kind of body language. And he started talking to the girl I was with when I was ordering a drink. You know, fine, it's a social area, that's awesome. But as soon as I get done ordering the drinks, he says about me, he says, that guy talks a lot, doesn't he? To her. And I kind of hear this, and she doesn't respond. She doesn't say anything to that. And I kind of turn to him, I said, what? And he says, you're kind of a big talker, aren't you? Okay. What would you do in that instance? How would you address this guy who says, you're kind of a big talker, aren't you? Clearly trying to make you look bad, right? He's kind of he's talking down to you. You talk a lot, like kind of a derogatory thing. What would you say in this instance? Okay? If you're not confident that you know what you need to exactly say, what you need to accomplish, and what they're communicating, I'd suggest you get those social skills handled. I've got a program called the Social Invincibility Program that'll go a lot more into depth than this little video can. You can go to socialinvincibility.com to check that out, or you can click right here and check it out as well. So what do you think I did? What would you guess? If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm guessing you probably think I handled it pretty directly. But in this instance, he says, yeah, you're kind of a big talker, aren't you? What could have I done? What were my options? Well, there's a lot of things I could have done. I could have said, yeah, well, you're a little talker, aren't you? And kind of talked down to him like that. That would have been pretty derogatory. It'd been tough for him to come back from that. I could have said, I could have reached in and said, hey, look, I can't hear you. Can you get a little bit closer here, small guy? I could have done that. That would have made it look bad. What did I do? I said, oh, hey, man, you having a good night? Completely ignored what he was saying, completely ignored he was trying to talk down to me, kept the energy high. Hey man, you having a good night? Right into something good. Why did I do this? Why did I choose this? Because there was no chance of my value dropping. On the interaction equilibrium, I wasn't going down because he wasn't even in play. So maybe if I wanted to be sure that I'm at the very highest social value, I could have been like, yeah, you're a small talker guy, cute, go away. I could have done that, but why? Now it's gonna make him have a bad night. It's gonna bring the energy down. I am a huge advocate of always leaving people with better energy than they had before. You want people to wanna be around you and feel good when they interact with you. And if I can do that, even if I would have had a little sharper comeback to really put him down, I'm not gonna do it. It wasn't a first date. The girl knew me. You know, she knew. It wasn't like she was like, oh, Barron's getting clowned on by this little guy. It wasn't like that at all. No, I'm so adamant about people leaving an engagement feeling better after they talk to me. There's a Katy Trail. It's like a jogging trail that runs through Dallas here. And when I'm on it and people will wave or say hi as I go by and I miss them, I'm almost compelled to go back and be like, oh, hey, man, because I feel so bad. Because, you know, when someone says hi to someone else, it kind of drags their energy down if they don't get a response. So I'm super adamant. So it's much more important for me. Well, first of all, to feel like I can control myself in these situations. And if I needed to, I could have said something to him. But way more important to leave that interaction with good energy than to put this guy down. And the interesting thing about that, I wonder if any of you would say, you know what? I wouldn't have taken the chance. I wouldn't want to look bad in front of that girl or anyone else I'm around. I probably would have said something back to him to reenact the interaction equilibrium. Would you say that? Or are you on the side of me? Let me know in the comments. Or are you on the side that I played it right just by being nice, ignoring the backhanded compliment? A few minutes later, out of nowhere, the girl I was with said, I thought that was really cool that you were just nice to that guy, because clearly he was trying to make you look bad. You didn't even care. Well, I had no emotional reaction, so that was important too. If I would have felt bad and been like, why you call me a big talker, man? I'm not. What do you mean? That would have been bad. But she actually, her words were, I think that shows a really high level of confidence, okay? So by being unreactive and not needing, she knew me. We've been out 3 days. She knew I could have said something to that guy immediately to put him in place, but I didn't have to, right? I had the ability to, I didn't have to. That's where true confidence is shown. The highest levels of confidence are shown. Now, don't get this misconstrued. If you're on a first date and some guy's clowning on you and you just kind of deal with it, you just kind of swallow it, and she's still forming an impression of you, probably not the best move. You need to be confident that you can address that with the right thing. But in an instance like this, where you can show it doesn't even bother you, it's not even a threat, it's not even worth engaging at that point, that really can show the highest level of confidence. To illustrate this point a little bit further, sometimes you need to be able to confront the person one-on-one. I was on a first date last week, and there were 3 guys who were sitting to my right that actually tried to make fun of me in front of this girl on the first date. I couldn't be so kind. I couldn't behave in the same way. If you want to hear me tell you all about that story, you can click here and I'll talk to you there. You're on a first date. The girl you're with is to your left, 3 guys on your right seated at a bar. All of a sudden, these 3 guys start clowning on you in front of your date. What do? Do you have the answer to this? Today, I'm going to walk you through a story that happened to me 2 days ago that went down